Friends, during the rainy season, plants require a significant amount of nutrients to ensure robust growth and to produce an abundance of fruits and flowers. Therefore, in today's video, I will introduce you to an excellent fertilizer specifically designed for use during the monsoon season. Using this fertilizer will not only ensure that your plants grow exceptionally well but will also lead to a prolific increase in the number of fruits and flowers across all types of plants. One of the most significant challenges encountered during the rainy season is caused by continuous rainfall. Whether plants are situated in pots, grow bags, garden beds, or directly in the ground, the soil surrounding them is constantly being washed away. As the soil erodes, the vital nutrients contained within it are also washed away along with the soil and water. These nutrients either drain out through the drainage holes or, if the pots or grow bags become waterlogged, they simply overflow and escape. Consequently, plants often suffer from severe nutrient deficiencies during the rainy season. While the plant may continue to grow physically, the rate of flowering and fruiting will drop drastically, or the flowers may even wither and fall off before they have a chance to develop into fruit. The plant can also experience significant stress, preventing it from performing optimally, meaning it fails to grow in the natural, healthy manner it otherwise would. Therefore, it is absolutely crucial to fertilize your plants properly and regularly throughout the rainy season. During the monsoon, you must not only replenish the general nutrient levels in your plants, but also pay special attention to providing micronutrients. Although rainwater naturally contains nitrogen, a primary nutrient, the continuous downpour often leads to a severe deficiency of micronutrients in the plants. For this reason, it becomes essential to fertilize your plants every week, or at least every 10 to 15 days, during the rainy season. Specifically, you must consistently provide them with an all-in-one fertilizer on a regular basis. So, let's talk about just such a fertilizer today. I am going to talk about a fertilizer, specifically an all-in-one fertilizer, that serves as a complete nutrient source for your plants. It contains not only essential nutrients but also almost every type of micronutrient. Furthermore, you can apply this fertilizer to your plants in 2 to 3 different ways. I will share detailed information with you regarding how to prepare it and how to use it. So, friends, to make this fertilizer, first select any suitable container. You can prepare this fertilizer in any quantity you desire, depending on your specific needs, and it can be stored and used for approximately 1 month, meaning a single batch remains viable for use for up to 30 days. In this instance, I am going to prepare 10 liters of fertilizer. The container I am using has a capacity of 15 liters, and I have filled it with approximately 10 liters of water. Please note that the measurements I am providing are specifically for a 10-liter batch. You should adjust the quantities proportionally based on the total volume you wish to prepare. Now, the very first ingredient you need to gather for this fertilizer is vermicompost. Friends, vermicompost is a nutrient-rich fertilizer that is packed with all types of essential nutrients as well as a wide variety of micronutrients. You can certainly apply vermicompost to your plants on a regular basis in its dry, granular form. However, if you prepare it as a liquid fertilizer solution, you will observe significantly greater benefits for your plants. When selecting the vermicompost for this recipe, ensure that it retains a certain level of moisture. Vermicompost is essentially earthworm castings, and it is characterized by a high concentration of beneficial microorganisms. These microorganisms remain active only when moisture is present, as dry vermicompost typically lacks microbial activity. Therefore, for a 10-liter batch of fertilizer, you will need approximately 200 grams of vermicompost. For a 5-liter batch, use 100 grams. If you do not have access to vermicompost, you may use either cow dung manure or kitchen waste compost as a substitute. Otherwise, vermicompost should be your primary choice. The second ingredient you need to add to this mixture is something that is absolutely free of cost. The key ingredient here is tea leaves. The ones I am using are spent tea leaves, those that have already been brewed, which I have thoroughly washed and dried. However, you can also use fresh tea leaves if you prefer. Tea leaves are rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, containing these nutrients in substantial quantities. Furthermore, they help make the soil slightly acidic. You do not need to use a large amount. Approximately 100 grams is sufficient for 10 liters of solution. If you are preparing a smaller batch, say 5 liters, then use just 50 grams. If you are using spent tea leaves and lack a suitable place to dry them during the rainy season, simply wash them thoroughly. You can then add them directly to the mixture without drying them first. The next ingredient you need to add is gur or jaggery. You can use jaggery in its solid block form or in its liquid form. The older the jaggery you use, the better it is for the plants, meaning it works even more effectively. Alternatively, instead of jaggery, you can use a waste decomposer solution. However, if you do not have a waste decomposer available, simply use jaggery. It significantly boosts microbial activity in the soil, specifically increasing the population of beneficial bacteria, thereby enhancing the soil's fertility. Additionally, it helps make the soil porous and light in texture. This will help minimize the issue of waterlogging, that is, the accumulation of excess water in the soil. Furthermore, as I mentioned at the beginning, the most common deficiency observed in plants is that of micronutrients. Therefore, when preparing this fertilizer, you should add approximately 1 handful of a biofertilizer, such as seaweed extract or any organic bioenzyme you may have on hand, to every 10 liters of the mixture. For a 5-liter batch, 1 handful would suffice. For 10 liters, 2 handfuls are adequate. Since this fertilizer will eventually be diluted with additional water before being applied to the plants, this ratio works well. If you regularly use these types of bioenzymes, which are rich in various micronutrients, on your plants, they will never suffer from any micronutrient deficiencies. Now, you must thoroughly mix all these ingredients together and allow the fertilizer to ferment properly for 4 to 5 days. Many people worry that using jaggery, unrefined sugar, will attract ants. However, this will not happen. When jaggery is fermented in this manner, alcoholic fermentation begins within just a single day, effectively eliminating almost all of its sweetness. Consequently, and this is why you should never apply jaggery directly to your plants, using it in this fermented form ensures that no ants will be attracted to your plants. Once everything is thoroughly mixed, cover the container and store it for 4 to 5 days, as previously mentioned, in a location where it is protected from both direct sunlight and rainwater. Additionally, be sure to stir the mixture well once or twice each day during this period. I have already prepared a batch of this very fertilizer in advance. So, after 5 days, once your fertilizer is ready, it will look something like this. This indicates that all the ingredients we added to the mixture have blended together perfectly, and the granular bioenzyme we included has also dissolved and mixed in thoroughly. It is now ready. Before using it, you must mix it thoroughly. To apply it, the recommended ratio is to mix 3 to 5 liters of water with every 1 liter of this fertilizer. Specifically, if you are using it for vine-growing vegetables, add 3 liters of extra water. However, if you are applying it to smaller plants, mix in 5 liters of water. For both types of plants, apply 100 to 150 milliliters of this fertilizer per plant. For flowering plants, maintain a ratio of 1 to 5, meaning mix 5 liters of water with every 1 liter of fertilizer, and apply 50 to 100 milliliters to each flowering plant. In addition to applying it directly to the soil, if the soil is already very wet but the plants still require nutrients, you can either drench the soil with it or use it as a foliar spray. For spraying, the required ratio is 1:10. That is, mix 10 liters of water with every 1 liter of fertilizer before spraying. Since it is currently the rainy season, during which nutrients tend to leach out of the soil very quickly, you can reapply this fertilizer every week or every 10 days. You can also use this fertilizer during other seasons. However, during those times, the application frequency should be reduced to once every 15 days. Friends, this is an excellent fertilizer that you can prepare almost entirely for free. It requires very little effort. You simply need to prepare it once and let it sit for 5 days. I encourage you to make it yourself and try using it on your plants. You will observe excellent benefits and results. You can also use it on an alternating basis. For instance, if you apply it to the soil 1 week, you can use it as a foliar spray or a top drench the following week to provide even greater benefits to your plants. I hope you found today's video useful and that you appreciated the information shared. If you enjoyed this video, even just a little bit, if you stopped by, please be sure to leave a like before you go. Finally, thank you very much for watching the video.